Hey, people.
Hey, we're in front of the people again.
Yeah, but different people.
Middle of the off-season.
Mostly the same people.
Some same people, some different people. Welcome new people.
Anyways, Tommy barged into my house and said, hey, I want to do a video about our new Dynasty League.
That's what I do.
Which he's calling Cafote.
Cafote, yeah. It's a clusterfuck of Dynasty. Because we have another league that's already called CFOD. Most of you know that.
I'm pretty cool with just calling it the Dynasty League. Like, I'm also cool with Cafote. But,
whatever.
If anyone comes up with a better name, cool. If not, Cafote.
Working title, Cafote. Now that that's squared away.
Now let's set up the rest of the league.
There is so much to talk about. This is all coming together, which I'm really excited about, because I've been wanting to do this for a number of years.
Yep.
Now we finally have enough people dedicated to do the Dynasty, to stick with us for...
dedicated or dumb enough.
Years and years of dealing with our shit.
I've already
particularly my shit.
I've already hated the last few years of dealing with your shit.
So you're not dressed up for the show. Where's your uniform at?
I didn't. I just told everybody. You barged into my house and said, "Let's do a video." I didn't have time to prepare.
Well, I guess this isn't technically the CFOD show, so we don't have to do this. Well, I guess I'll just strip. Niner shirt. There we go. That'll be the uniform of this. That's how we'll differentiate these shows.
I got Sharknado from Stanley Cup win.
That was fun.
Number 1.
A couple years ago. I used to be good. Fucking Golden Knights. God damn.
Back
to the league. Back to the Dynasty, which we're finally getting set up. So it's been really exciting. I think we have the scoring and the format down. I think we're pretty set there with one quarterback, 2 running backs, 2 wide receivers, 1 tight end, and then 2 flexes that can be running backs, wide receivers, or tight ends.
Or kickers.
No kickers.
No kicker? No kicker, no defense?
No kickers, no defenses. So that's going to be fun.
I wanted to take Aguayo in the second round.
Well, that would have been a poor decision. Ask the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Sorry, Greg. That's right. Greg's a Bucs fan.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
So Greg will not be making that mistake of selecting Roberto Aguayo in the second round.
Maybe he will.
Hey, maybe you convert him to a wide receiver. Who knows? But anyway, so we got that squared away. I was really wanting to do half-point PPR with this league, just to kind of... I thought it was a little bit more fair of a scoring system and to differentiate it from CFOD. But the people voted, and it looks like half of the league has voted on the side of PPR. So...
I know why I voted PPR as opposed to half PPR.
Because you like full points. And I like full points, too.
That actually isn't it at all. It's because I like familiarity, and I don't know half-point PPR. So I would be going into the draft at a disadvantage, not knowing how half PPR works.
It's very similar to full PPR. It's just on a half scale of that. So take a PPR game, cut it in half, and that's what you have.
Gotcha. So Aguayo in the second.
Perfect. That's exactly what I wanted you to take from this. So that's where we're at right now. Looks like full point PPR. Got 6-point passing touchdowns in there. Just kind of spicing it up to kind of balance out the...
For the QB?
Yeah, for the QB.
I didn't see that.
Well, for everyone, actually. So if your running back throws a touchdown...
To himself?
To himself, then he will get 6 points for the throwing, for the passing touchdown, and 6 points for the receiving touchdown.
Who did that? Who did that recently? Was it?
It was Marcus Mariota.
Yeah, in the playoffs.
To himself.
Right. They won that game.
Did they?
Yeah. Chiefs can't win a playoff game.
Can they? Ralph?
Sorry, Ralph.
My goal is to bag on everyone's team by the end of this video.
How about the Niners?
The Niners, we're going to the Super Bowl. Goddamn right, people. That's to Josh, to Jeff, to Alan.
My team at least went to the playoffs last year.
What'd you do there?
Almost beat the Saints.
The Saints? Nader's a Saints fan. He's in the league.
Oh.
You got the whole NFC South represented. But there's no Falcons fans, though.
Thank God.
That's one thing you can all agree on. And Nader will drink to that, I'm sure. So there we are, kind of bagged on a little bit of everyone.
Bengals just always suck. Oh, wait. Do we have any Bengals fans?
No Bengals fans.
Barron. Sorry, that was Barron.
Barron did not accept the invite to this league, so there are no Bengal fans here. No, we'll try to remember everyone who's in the league.
This is really important to setting up the league, is making sure we know
who's in it. I mean, 8 of the 12 teams have accepted the invite so far, so there's only a few more to do that. That's pretty good for the first day. Back to finalizing, scoring. Another thing I added, -1 point for every time your quarterback is sacked.
Okay.
So I've added that on there too. So that's another.
That
little
kind
wrinkle.
of it's weird. It feels like a defensive stat, but it's against your quarterback. Interesting.
Right. So offensive line is important. Getting rid of the ball is quick, but again, it is 6-point passing touchdowns as opposed to 4.
So that can be offset.
Exactly.
Yeah, okay.
So that's how I'm looking at it. And 1 point for every 25 passing yards. We're just going to go standard with that one. So
Okay.
that's pretty much it. Basic scoring across the board. Full PPR, like we said. Standard point scoring. Other than that, we have that squared away. 25 roster spots. So
25.
25.
What
So
is it? What is the
draft.
CFOD?
CFOD is 18.
18. So we get an extra 7 players.
Minus a kicker and a defense. So we're going to have some deep lineups there.
I like it.
That's what this is all about. We want to
All right.
acquire people through trades rather than
Now,
agency.
as someone who's never actually participated in a dynasty league,
as you and 11 of the 12 people in the league.
okay, I just want to know how. Obviously, the draft is important. It's the first draft we're going to get our teams, but I want to jump past that for now and go to the end of the year. What happens, like, if I realize, shit, I don't like 10 of the people on my team? Can I just drop them, or do I have to keep them?
So I have it right now. I have it set as a limit that you have to keep at least 18 of your players, 18 of your 25. So
Okay.
That's how I have it set right now. Again, I've never done Dynasty before either, so we're all kind of going to be figuring this out as we go together as a league. So that's what it's set at right now, to keep at least 18 of your 25 players. Other than that, and the issue with this is that there's no set Dynasty rules. So every Dynasty league is different. They're all based on how you set up the rules and how you go with that. So we're all kind of trying to figure out the best way to do this. So one option is to just be able to add and drop players throughout the off season. I'm not sure exactly how we'll do that, whether the league's website will cater to that during the off season, or whether I'll have to manually track it. But that's kind of what I'm looking at, is to just have live free agency throughout the entire off season, and that way if you drop someone, you pick someone up, we don't have to worry about filling the rosters otherwise.
Okay.
Another portion that is determined is that we're going to have a rookie draft every single year. So every year around NFL draft time, we'll have a rookie draft, which I believe will be 4 rounds is what we're looking at right now. Everybody has a pick in each round. You can trade those draft picks for assets if you want to.
Well, now here's where more questions come in. If we're only doing a 4-round rookie draft and you can drop up to 7 players, like you say, keep 18 of your 25. How would you fill those last 3 spots?
So again, that would be through free agency, through waiver wires or free agency.
Because I was thinking something along the lines of, we don't necessarily just have. It will be called the rookie draft, but it also involves anyone who's still a free agent. So
this draft would be just rookies, just the rookie class coming in, and everybody else who wasn't on a team would be off in that free agent pool.
Okay.
So that's how the rookie draft would work. It'd be solely rookies who were drafted in the NFL draft this last year, or undrafted free agents if you wanted to do that. But if a real NFL team didn't draft them, why would you?
So what you're saying is, next year when we go to draft, there will not be anyone drafted except for rookies.
In the rookie draft, that's how that'll work. Now here's the thing: is like we have options here. We could do this all through free agency. So we just have the rookie draft, and you fill out the rest of your team through free agency. We could have that option, or we could have a second draft of who was left out of that pool. Now the tricky part there is that you run into issues of like, different people have different amounts to fill, or different numbers of roster spots to fill on their bench. There's also a taxi squad issue there, which I'll explain in a moment about the taxi squads and how that works.
Never heard of it before.
Yeah, so that's another fun part about Dynasty that we're going to have in there. So let's just pause and explain what a taxi squad is. So we're all going to have a 5-man taxi squad, and what this is, it's basically like a practice squad on your team. They're additional players who don't count onto your active roster, onto your 25. Usually this is where you'll stash rookies for a year or two. Like say you draft a rookie in the 4th round, who you're just kind of throwing a dart
4th round
at,
of the rookie
draft,
okay.
exactly. And you're just you want to stash him and see what he does. You don't necessarily want him on your 25-man roster just yet.
Or like even a Patrick Mahomes last year.
Exactly, someone like that. A great example. So that's what the taxi squad is for. So you can have up to 5 people on there. Once you promote them, you can't send them back down to the taxi squad. So
okay.
and there's a 2-year limit on how long you can keep them on there, because you're going to be drafting other rookies year in and year out too. So
okay.
so then those are kind of lineup decisions that you make in there too, which is why I don't necessarily want to incorporate a free agent draft, because how would we do that? How many rounds would we make that?
Okay.
I think I'd rather just solve all that through the free agent pool and waiver wires.
Okay. Probably also makes trade blocks a little more important, where instead of it's like, yeah, I don't really want,
Exactly, because the waiver wire is going to be thin. Like there aren't going to be a lot of people out there who you're going to want to drop your players to pick up.
Which means you probably won't be able to trade players for draft picks as easily in this league.
I think you will. I think it's going to get really creative, because different teams are going to have different needs as we go through this. Also, different levels of competition. If you're in win now mode, or if you're building for the future, you're going to have different needs on there. You might be willing to trade an aging asset for a future draft pick. So
okay,
it's going to be fun, I think.
Yeah, I could see that. Yeah, no, I think that's the thing that is even more important to me than the draft, is just literally how the league's going to look year in and year out.
Yeah, and I want to get all that squared away too. That's why we're starting here in May and starting to communicate with everybody.
I like making the rules now, but you were telling me that you had some people who wanted to actually start drafting soon. I'm like, no, thank you.
Right. We'll get all this squared away first and then get to that. But, I mean, that brings up a good point. One of the options to draft is an email draft. So that would be kind of fun. It'd be different, but it would take forever. That's something that I've done to start right away.
I've done it one time before. It wasn't actually an email draft. It was on a website, and yeah, you had 24 hours to make your pick. And oh wow, I'm picking 11th. Cool. That means I could pick either in 10 minutes or in 11 days.
Right. So that's an interesting option. I think with 25 rounds and 12 teams, that's what, 300 picks.
I don't want to do math right now.
That's close enough. I'll go with 300. I think that's about right.
Okay.
I think that is right. Correct. I'm awesome at math. Anyway, so that would take a long time. Like, if everyone took their full 24 hours, that'd be almost a year of a draft. So
well, okay. Well, you heard it here first. Dynasty League starts in 2019.
We're going to start drafting for 2019, starting now. So that's one option, but no, I think that would take too long. So we're going to get into some other options of how we should do this draft, because the fun part about My Fantasy League is they present us with a lot of different draft options, which I think is important considering the magnitude of this draft.
This draft is literally building your team.
Right, for the next several years.
Like, not only... Okay, so there's a few things that come to mind when I think first Dynasty draft. One, if you want somebody, reach. I mean, if you want... if I wanted Devin Funchess, and I know a bunch of wide receivers are gone, but it's probably another 2 rounds too early, I probably have to go for it.
Yeah. That's going to make things interesting.
Stuff like that. Do you want a certain position? Do you want to stock I want 3 quarterbacks on my team for some reason. I'm going to go quarterbacks early.
Well, I mean, with 25-man rosters, like that's going to be common, because you're going to want it. In normal leagues, I don't draft a second quarterback. I go with my first one, and I pick up someone off the waiver wire for bye weeks or for bad matchups. But in this league, you're going to want to have those guys on your roster.
Yeah,
you're not going to be able to pick up starting quarterbacks.
There
off
will
the
not
waiver
be.
wire.
There might not even be backup quarterbacks on the waiver wire. I could see that. But,
it'll be interesting. But
so because of things like that, just literally how the draft is set up is more important than normal.
Exactly.
Because the traditional snake draft, is no, not yet. Oh. Traditional snake draft is very good for redrafts because everyone's used to it, everyone knows what it is, and we could do it, but
and it varies in different years. Like there are years where I want to pick 12th and have two
Yeah.
of those picks at the late rounds, and there are years where I want to have the number one overall pick, and there's one clear number one.
there are leagues where you don't necessarily want to be 12th because there's so many kept people as well.
Yeah, for sure. So, but this is different, like I said, because of the importance and how long these players are going to be sticking with you. So there are a few options to break that up, because that's my main issue with the main snake draft is having to pick on the end, and like then you're making two picks at once, knowing that you're not going to pick again for two more rounds,
Yeah.
and that's going to be really hard to project in a league like this, where, like you said, you're going to have to reach for those players that you want.
Because they could be on your team for years.
Exactly. So,
All right. Well, anyway, so what we and Tommy did is we picked basically 6 options we think will work for a draft for the Dynasty. And we're going to present them here now.
yeah, I figured it was better to get it out there to show everybody the visual of what it looks like, and then and talk about it. Talk about
Talk
how
them up.
exactly how it works.
Talk them up.
So let's start with the traditional snake draft. That everybody knows.
We decided we actually have our list right here, and Tommy doesn't know what the number 1 means.
Well, I thought we already kind of talked about the auction, no, we talked about the email draft. I'm sorry.
Yeah, we didn't talk auction at all.
Yeah.
So the number 1 option that we said was an auction draft.
Indeed.
And while I've never done an auction draft before, they sound fun as hell.
They are. Like, I've done several auction drafts. I think it's the best way to draft, because then everybody
Put
has
your
equal
money where your
opportunity.
mouth is.
You have equal opportunity to get the players that you want, and without taking draft position into
Yep.
effect. I think that would be the best way to do this league, to be honest. But for, again, with 300 players being drafted and then they turn an auction, that would take a long time. If we did an online draft, we'd probably have to make that like a 2-day affair to get through that thing.
So while the auction is number 1 on our list, this is not the order in which we think we should do it.
No,
it's just
the order does not
that
matter.
came up that we think is the best way to present them. Auction sounds really awesome, but it's also probably the hardest one for us to do.
Yeah, and then, like you were saying, a lot of people have not done auctions before, so that would kind of benefit those of us who have versus those who have not.
Yeah.
So that's auction. Second, as I was saying, is the traditional snake,
Traditional snake draft.
which everyone knows. It goes like this.
That's pretty good, I guess.
I think it looks like shit.
I'll just make a graphic then.
All right, that'd probably be easier for everyone else if we just did that.
Yep. All right, so here's a graphic
All right.
of traditional snake.
So there you go. As everyone knows, you pick 1 through 12, 12 through 1, 1 through 12, 12 through 1, the whole fucking way.
Yep.
And
very basic, very good. You know, if you're picking first overall, you're not getting to pick again until 24th. But hey, then you get to pick 25th. If you're picking 12th, hey, you get to pick 2 of the top 13 players, but then you kind of have to wait 2 rounds. But then you get to pick 2 players in a row again. Or if you're 6th, you pick 6th and 14th.
Right. So, like I was saying earlier, in this particular draft for Dynasty, I think it definitely benefits you to be in the middle of that draft versus being on the ends, because making 2 picks at once and then waiting 2 rounds to pick, I see that as a big disadvantage. So that's kind of what the rest of these options are designed to work against, to eliminate that.
All right, so basically what we've already presented are the 2 most basic type of drafts, auction and traditional snake, yeah?
Indeed. You ready to get weird?
Oh, yeah.
Get into some weird shit.
Oh, yeah. All right, so the third option on our list here is actually called reverse snake.
Indeed. This is one that a little weird at first, but I find it pretty interesting.
All right, let me put a graphic up.
All right. So
There we are.
there you can see. So first 2 rounds, your standard snake. You go 1 through 12, 12 through 1. Now, rounds 3 and 4, this is where the reverse snake comes in, because we're going to go in reverse this snake.
Whoa.
See what I did there? So now we're going
Can't
12.
see what you did there.
But there's the graphic. That's what this is for. Mm-hmm. So we're then going 12 through 1, and then 1 through 4. Or 1 through 12. We'll go 1 through 4, but we'll also go 5 through 12 after that.
All right, well, I can kind of see where this benefits the person who picks first overall, in which they're not picking first, then 24th, 25th, then waiting 2 rounds. So it kind of means you're picking...
It breaks up the picking once every 2 rounds sort of thing, because you'll pick once every 2 rounds, but then you'll make 2 picks essentially there.
It's interesting.
You'll throw a 12 in there.
Yeah, it goes. It goes. You pick once, wait 24, pick again, then you wait 12, then you make 2 picks, then you wait 24, then you make. Interesting.
Yeah. So
it breaks it up a little bit.
Exactly,
more.
It breaks it up where you're not necessarily picking the same turn every time. It mixes it up a little bit. So interesting option, a little easier to understand than some of the other options, I would say. But
if you're in the middle, though, I can totally see it being very similar. But that's not a bad thing.
No, it's not. I don't think. I think it'd be pretty. Yeah, if you're in the middle, it pretty much keeps it the same. But that's okay. It's mostly to benefit the people on the ends. So that's one option there. Next one that I kind of like is it's a snake for the first 2 rounds, and then it stops snaking after that.
All right, let me put that graphic up.
Okay. So there you go. First 2 rounds, 1 through 12, 12 through 1. After that, we go 1 through 12, and we'll go 1 through 12 the rest of the draft. So this way, there's no worrying about making back-to-back picks. There's no worrying about not picking for 2 rounds. Everybody's making a pick every 12th pick after that.
I can totally see where that benefits people as well. You pick first overall, you get to pick whoever you want, but then you have to wait until 24th to pick again. Mm-hmm. But then after that, it's literally just I see where it spreads out the talent there at the top.
Exactly.
But then it's just you pick once every 12. I kind of like it.
Yeah. No, I like that a lot too.
I only kind of like it. Let me show here. Let me change this a little bit and show you what option number 5 is.
Right. So then, so you basically like option 4 spreads out the talent at the top. You're looking to spread that a little bit further.
Yes, especially in such an important draft. I think the first 4 rounds are pretty damn important in every draft. As long as everyone's comfortable with how the picks are going, I think I don't know. I just feel better with this one over the other one. Granted, they're both good.
Yeah. So, I mean, the same benefits of it. This one just spreads out that talent a little bit further across 4 rounds rather than 2. But I do like the picking once every 12 picks. I think that'll make it pretty even. And then you know exactly when you'll be picking next every time. You don't have to. Nobody's at a disadvantage having to look further ahead in the draft than anybody else is.
Yeah.
So 4 and 5
that's definitely
similar.
one of the hard things about a traditional snake is when you're like, okay, I don't really want to reach yet, but I have to because I don't pick for 23 turns.
Exactly. And in a draft where, as you mentioned, we're already going to have to be reaching a little bit in certain instances, then, yeah, I just see that being troublesome. And then the 6th and final option, which I find to be a pretty interesting one.
We call this one randomonium.
Randomonium. Cool. Anyway, so first 2 rounds there, you can see traditional snake. Let me
put up the graphic.
I know, yeah. So yeah, that we're not in the Matrix. It's just
okay. So I'm only showing the graphic with the first 2 rounds.
Okay, so they're pretty simple there. You go 1 through 12, and then you pick 12 through 1. So this is a sequential.
Basically, that's the first round of the snake. So now with randomonium, what do we do for rounds 3 and 4?
We randomonium it.
Well, here's round 3.
Let's randomize that. Shake it up.
All right, there goes.
So that's a completely random order for every odd round for the rest of this draft. It'll then snake back in the reverse order of that draft on the even rounds. So
here you see round 4.
It's the reverse order of round 3, which was random. So then guess what we do in round 5?
1 through 12 again?
No, we shake it up.
Oh.
This is randomonium from here on out.
Holy crap.
That's right. So a completely different random set.
So wait, I picked 3rd overall, then wait, now 6th, and now 4th? Weird.
Exactly. So, and then it'll be reverse order on the even rounds there. There are a lot of benefits that I like about this one. For one, it makes it very difficult to prepare for.
Well, that's what we all want. Is make it difficult to prepare.
Not necessarily difficult to prepare, but it makes it a little tougher because you don't know what your draft order is going to be from.
Wait. Okay, so here's my question: when is it picked that it's random? Are we going to know the entire draft order before we even start, or is it all right? It's round 3 now. We're picking random.
That's a good question. I don't know the answer to that, but I can try to find out. I think, at worst case scenario, at the beginning of the draft, you should be able to look ahead in the draft and kind of see how it'll randomize it and reverse it from there. So worst case scenario, you should know at the beginning of the draft. But I think just in my experience playing around with the site, my limited experience trying to figure everything out, it's a pretty big site. I think we'll be able to see the full order of the draft after that.
Okay.
To have an idea of it. But
so we'll randomize rounds 3, 5, 7, all the way to 25.
All of the odd rounds through 25, yep.
Before we start actually drafting.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
I kind of don't like that. I kind of almost like the idea of, all right, round 2 is over. Now let's pick the random order. So it's almost like a lottery every other round.
Yeah, I don't think we'd be able to do that online. Well, it might. Like
maybe.
I've never done this before,
yeah.
but I've just read the explanation of it. It doesn't say when it would randomize it, so that could be how it worked. But instead of that, let's talk about the benefits of the randomizing it. Then there's no advantage or disadvantage to where you're picking, because after the first 2 rounds, you're going to be bouncing all over the place.
Yeah,
you might be on the turn one round, but then you'll shake it up the next round.
Yep.
You'll be picking next to different people.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Is there's been so many times where I've been close to you in a draft and went, great. Well, there goes Cameron Meredith.
I wouldn't draft Cameron Meredith.
No?
I'm not a dumbass.
Oh, okay.
I just dissed 3 people with that.
3? I only know 2.
Well, he plays for the Saints now, and Nader's a Saints fan.
Oh,
so
okay.
3.
Got it.
Hat trick.
Swish.
Anyway, so yeah, I know that's a big issue for you, because then you get into the draft, you see who you're picking next to. That could be a disadvantage throughout the whole draft. So This is shaking it up every time. There will be rounds that benefit some people and rounds that are disadvantages for people. There'll be one round where you get multiple picks and where you might get more picks in a shorter range, and then it might spread it out a little bit further after that.
Yeah.
But the point is, no one has a distinct advantage over anyone else. So.
Wow.
So there you have it. Those are the options that we have for this draft. As we were saying before, this is just such an important draft that I want to make sure we do it the best way for everyone, that everyone agrees with the most. So I would greatly appreciate your feedback. I'm going to make a little poll down there.
Yep, and I'm going to put a graphic up right here. So these are the 6 options right here. We've got, obviously, number 1 is auction. Number 2 is traditional snake. Number 3 is reverse snake. 4 and 5 are kind of the same thing, where it's snake for the first 2 rounds or the first 4 rounds, followed by picking once every 12. And then our 6th option is randomonium.
Randomonium. It's catchy. #randomonium.
Well, I may have stole that from somewhere else, but
I'm not.
I like it.
I'm trying to be unbiased here and trying to be as open and fair as I can, but #randomonium I think is starting to trend.
We haven't even put this episode out yet.
I'm trending it right now.
All right, fine, understood. But anyway, so these are the 6 options. Tommy will put a poll up probably after I put this episode up.
So sometime in the next several months.
Yep. I plan on, it's May 19th, so if I have this out before September 19th, we're looking good.
But the season starts before then.
2019, we're drafting, remember?
Oh, that's right, we got time. Or, I mean, if we really got the ball moving on this, we could conceivably draft for this year.
I'm not ready.
Get ready.
I'm ready.
Edit the episode. Get this out. Go see FODEY yourselves. I've never done this before.
What do I do with my hands?
I don't know. We'll figure that out. This is different.
All right. So, anyways, thank you guys for watching. The main things you need to take away from this episode is we're setting up the league. What do you want to name it? What do you want to do with the scoring? So far, it looks like we're pretty solid on there. What do you want to do for the draft? We've got our 6 options. That's pretty much what this episode was about, is giving you the 6 options for the draft. And then the last thing is, what do you want to do during the off season? Do you want to make it to where, hey, you have to cut it down to 18, you have to keep 25, we only have the rookie draft, or what do you want to do? So I think that because that's at the end of the season, we can mold that during the season, whereas the draft is sooner. So that's why we wanted to make the poll about the draft now.
Exactly. Get that squared away. So, okay.
Alrighty.
Good stuff.
Yep.
How long are we at? How long was this?
Half hour.
Okay, that's not too bad. Watch every second of it.
in slow motion.
Don't you go back and don't you skip.
0.5
Don't you skip
speed.
anything. You go back and watch every second that you skipped over.
If you watch it at 0.5 speed, we sound drunk.
Are you drunk?
No, I haven't had a drink this year.
Oh, congratulations.
Thank you.
All right.
We don't. That's CFOD.
It's 1 point.
1 point.
Here, I'll point with a Y. How
Half
about
point
that?
PPR.
I wanted to do half point, but we're doing the full point, I guess. Are we done?
I could have hit stop by
Stop!